Hello, my beautiful African people. Welcome back to Here I Ride African Facebook page and YouTube channel. This is your pro African Bratan welcoming you to another video series. This time, I want to tell you some of you in Africa who might be contemplating on coming to study in UK. I want to give you some of the information you need to know, current information and old information as well before coming to study in UK. Before we continue, let's start with the basic, like what the current school fees or average school fees are now in UK for the undergraduate studies and postgraduate studies. In case if you don't know, the UK school fees changes from times to times. From times to times, they increase their school fees, not decrease. Currently, if you want to study an undergraduate study in UK, the school fees is between 11,000 and 34,000 pounds for international students. This is just for the undergraduate school fees, and this school fees is per year, not for your full duration of studies. This is the amount you have to pay to the school each year. If your course, most of the courses in UK undergraduate is 3 years, but in Scotland you are looking at 4 years in most cases. So if you are planning to come to study undergraduate in UK, this is the amount you'll be looking at. So this is the minimum is 11,000, but the average school fees, like average means like most of the schools, is 17,000 pounds for the international student. For the postgraduate student, the school fees is between 9,000 to 33 or to 30,000 pounds per year. Now, for postgraduate, most of the time is 1 year and plus study year. But the average of the international postgraduate student fee is 17,000 as well, just as the undergraduate studies. But this is not only what you have, the expenses you have to make when coming to UK to study. This is just the money in the school you're gonna hand over to the school. There is other expenses. The average accommodation, monthly accommodation for students is between 1,003 to 1,005, depending on the area or the location of where you want to study. This amount is for London. If you want to live if you want to live like in a nice places. But if you're struggling with finance, you might find a place that will charge you less than this amount for your accommodation. And let's move ahead to other expenses that you have to cut out when you are coming to study in UK. There is other courses, other costs. No, sorry. This one is called immigration health surcharge. This amount you pay to the government. This is 470 pounds per year you supposed to pay to the government so that they will grant you access to their health care system, so that when you fall sick, you can go to hospital and they treat you freely. In olden days, this used to be free. You don't have to pay to get treatment as an international student in UK, but this time around, they have changed it. This country is always trying to milk the foreigners. They change it now so that when you come as international student, even though you are working and paying some taxes to them, plus national insurance, they still take this kind of amount from you. So you say that this is just the aspect of fees you have to pay to students for accommodation, to government. When we come down to what amount you need for your, other daily expenses, because if you live outside your school premises or close to your school premises, you might not pay for transportation. But if you don't live outside, if you live far away from your school, you have to factorize transportation, which is very expensive this time around. For those of you who are planning to come and study in UK, this amount is just for the expenses you need to make for coming. You see, if you are not rich or your parents are not rich in Africa, it's not affordable for an ordinary person to come and study in UK this time around, even if you are very, very intelligent. Without money, you will not go far. So let's get to other few things that people most of the time don't know when they're coming to study in UK. If you are in Africa and you used to go to school, primary school, secondary school, where you have large blocks of buildings for lectures and other stuff, administration. If you come to UK having that idea in your mind, when you come to your school, you're going to have a large campus with different blocks. You'll be disappointed because most of the schools in UK, they like to manage space. They don't like building mega stuffs, because sometimes there's advantages and disadvantages of building mega buildings, because one of the disadvantages is that maintenance wise, you're gonna cost you much than like a small smart space. That is why most of the time the UK, they choose to build a smart, smaller place for their stuff. But in Africa, we build large blocks and give it some years, it will start to dilapidate. Because we don't have, most of the time, we don't have maintenance culture in Africa. Thirdly, another stuff you have to know before coming to UK is that, to study as a student, is that it's only 17% of UK that goes to universities. The rest doesn't go to university. So when you're coming to study from Africa to UK, most of the schools you attend, you mostly, or you will not see, you might not see a single British person in your class. Most of the guys you're gonna see in your classes are from Asia, like Indians, Nepal, Bangladesh, and maybe sometimes you might see some people from Europe or Eastern Europe in your classes. Apart from that, you absolutely going to see none of the British people. I mean, white British, not African or black Britain or black British. So you have that in mind. Another one is that even in your lecturers, the lecturers that are gonna teach you your courses, you will likely not gonna see any of them that comes from white British. Most of the time, you see the Indians as the lecturers. You can even see the Nigerians. You see, maybe you might be lucky you find an Irishman as your lecturer. Apart from that, most of your lecturers is just people that are not white British. So that's the way it is, so that when you are coming, you are not gonna be very disappointed if you watch this video. So that, when we came as a student, we were disappointed